it's interesting because people have sat here and told us that there have been few or no people-centered bills that have come before Parliament have been discussed and then implemented. Others have come and say, well, the business of the day has been what the president's agenda is. And so that's what members of Parliament are going to. We have had things which are current processes in Kenya that have been passed in Parliament where there's been no quorum, and we know what the Constitution says about how you should pass things. And that if you listen, because we have the opportunity to do that every day. If you listen to proceedings, which are on record, by the way, if you listen to proceedings, that the lines are already drawn in Parliament, which is a legislative body. The lines are drawn politically.
Yes.
That even somebody who has not been lobotomized can hear that something doesn't make sense. But because of the political side that they are on, they will take that side, even if it doesn't make sense.
So
that's what's going on.
Exactly. And that's what I'm saying. If we look at human behavior in regards to the question you are talking, or the comment you're making, you understand that we have the question of morals versus objectives. And I'm saying Parliament ideally should be a cathedral of morals, where conscience of the country sits. Because in this country today, we'll ask ourselves, where does the conscience of the country sit? Does it sit in Parliament? Does it sit in State House? Does it sit in the judiciary? Most probably today you look at the judiciary and say, there's semblance of the conscience of the country there. In Parliament, there is seemingly patronage, absolute patronage. And parliamentarians, because it's a presidential system, they don't know what to do. Like, our hands are tied. And most of those parliamentarians are criminals.
I mean, I beg to differ that parliamentarians find themselves in a point where their hands are tied. Because if you look at the system, let's use the constitution that we have, absolute power does not even belong to the president. Absolute power, one would say, belongs to Parliament, who are the representatives of the people. You get? But that we find ourselves in political bad manners where Parliament itself has allowed itself to have its hands tied. It's not necessarily because the hands are tied, it's because they do not understand their purpose to be in that cathedral of morals. So they have let go of the system that protects them, which is the people, and have allowed themselves to be used by the guy who sits in that office that has no power anyway.
So let's just on that. So let's analyze Parliament as you're talking about it, and look at Parliament in the sense of what could they do alternately. Look at the political parties process in this country. If the party takes a position and you go against it, what happens?
You're ousted.
You're ousted, or you're punished by your political party. When you're punished by your political party, what happens on the ground? You lose your legitimacy, and which means the next election you're gone. Okay, because you're going against the party, and the party is popular where you come from, you will go home. Now, for us to have a sober framework where things are operating properly in this country, if we reintroduce conscience, mark the word that I'm using, if we reintroduce conscience in this country, and we want to look at issues as the way they should be, not from the way they are. Because, for example, quickly, today if we look at the question of education, why are we having CDA, 40% of it going to bursaries? Why are we having governors having money being given to bursaries? Why are we having MCAs also wanting bursaries? Why are we having the president also having some pocket money where he can give bursaries? So in a sober state, in a sober parliament or a parliamentary system, parliamentarians would sit, because it's their conscience, collective conscience of the nation. They sit and say, instead of having these funds independently, doing these small monies for students, can we have free basic education?
Take that money and fund the thing.
Fund the thing.
Fund the thing. Don't give me it. I don't need patronage. Let's make systems that work. Okay? Let's have the Kenya Education Trust Fund. That in the instance, we have extremely brilliant people and poor who cannot manage. We have a fund that takes care of them, because we are a republic. A republic is a democracy that cares about the least in the community, the most vulnerable in the community. Okay? Now, if we go with the definition that Parliament's hands are tied, why are their hands tied? It's because the system that is there asks Parliament to please look at the house on the hill and do what is best for the house on the hill. Because the stability of the state is vested in the house on the hill. And what happens there?
Stability of the state is not vested in the House, the August House, because one would say...
From what it is today, it is vested in the House on the Hill.
Because they've chosen for it to be like that.
Because the system...
Because, follow me through that. Follow my train of thought,
okay.
right?
All right.
Today, members of parliament would not be punished by their political parties based off decisions they make inside parliament. It is based off what they do outside parliament. Because members of parliament are protected by standing orders and by the house they serve based off decisions they make in there. But any other thing that members of parliament do outside that contravene the position of the party, then that is where they get punished. That today members of parliament have forgotten the powers they have, and they think that whatever they do outside as well applies in the house, goes to show that we have individuals in those positions who do not understand their roles or the powers that have been given to them by that house.
And that's why you get it wrong. Now, understand what I'm trying to say here. That parliamentarians are not forgetting their roles. Parliamentarians know their roles. But they're being patronized by the political parties. At the end of the day, look at America. Look at, any other country that is running a presidential system. When they're electing parliamentarians into parliament, at the end of the day, in the ultimate format, what is a parliamentarian? He's a vote. He's a vote for the party. That when a bill is presented, when an impeachment is occasioned, the parliamentarian is not just him. He's a vote for the party. And by the way, the most painful punishments that happen to parliamentarians is not what they say out of parliament, is what they do inside parliament. Because the ultimate betrayal of the party is when you go against your party in parliament. But you see, in some instances, you need to go against your party. When you look at your conscience and a bill has been brought, an impeachment has been brought in parliament, you'll be like, no, gentlemen and ladies, this is not the right thing to do. Let's think independently. Now, look at the process of decision making and understand that the most painful thing that somebody can deny you is not freedom to walk. It's not freedom to do any other thing. It is freedom to think independently. Freedom to make an autonomous decision where you are granted all the decisions or all the information that you need to have to arrive at an independent decision that collectively reflect the independence of thought in parliament. Today, we cannot have independence of thought in parliament because there's political patronage. But in the instance, Dennis, that we have parliamentarians being allowed to think the way they should because they're electing a prime minister, even the political party's conscience will rise. They'll be like, oh, wait a minute. So now we can make decisions as individuals, then go and talk at the party level. Then whatever we agree is what we go and do in parliament. Today, you just need a political party leader of a particular party and X, Y, Z, maybe 3 or 4 political parties.
To say this is our position.
They're political party leaders. Once the political party leader says this is the position, no member is allowed to go against it. Because those things they call NDCs, NECs that they meet at are basically stamps.
Then it's flawed from the beginning.
It's flawed from the beginning.
It's flawed from the beginning because
from the beginning.
in parties where they followed